Heat is a form of energy. We use heat in everyday activities, such as cooking, exercising, and we especially need it when it is cold. The movement of molecules causes heat to occur. When we cook, the movement of molecules causes our food to start to heat up. Likewise, when we exercise, our legs and arms are moving quickly, and as the molecules bump each other, the more heat we produce. But how is it transferred? Heat can be transferred in three ways: convection, conduction, and radiation. First, let's study convection. Convection is the transfer of heat by movement of warmed matter. Hot molecules tend to rise, and cold molecules tend to sink. Hot liquids and gases expand and become less dense, while cold liquids and gases become more dense and sink. When the temperature rises, the molecules move apart, but when it is cold, the molecules move in closer together. That is why, when you have hot food, the hot steam rises as the bottom gets cold. Another example is Earth's atmosphere. The Earth's surface is warmed by the sun. As the warm air rises, the cool air moves in. Think about water boiling in a pan. Because of the constant heating on a stove, the currents are constantly moving the molecules, making it get hotter. These are all examples of convection and how the transfer of it occurs.
Conduction, the transfer of heat between substances that are in direct contact with each other. This is shown when you are making pancakes. The metal pan is hot. The heat transfers to the pancake batter, turning the liquid into a solid, thus making a pancake. Have you ever noticed that almost all cooking materials are made out of metal pans, metal pots, metal sheets, etc.? This is because metal is a great conductor of heat. If you heat a metal rod at one end, then very quickly the heat will travel up to the other end. The heat makes the particles vibrate. These vibrations make the adjacent particles vibrate, and so on. These vibrations are passed along through the metal, and so is the heat. The outer electrons of metal atoms drift and are free to move when the metal is heated. This is called the sea of electrons. They gain kinetic energy and transfer it throughout the metal. Insulators, such as wood and plastic, do not have the sea of electrons, which is why they do not conduct heat as well. In this experiment, there is a cup of hot water. Using 3 different types of material, plastic, wood, and metal, place butter on each of them and a sugar cube. As you can see, the metal stick with the butter is melting first. This is all due to conduction.
Heat radiation. What is heat radiation? Heat radiation is also known as thermal radiation, which is an electromagnetic radiation generated by the thermal motion of charged particles in matter. We have a camera here, which is sensitive to heat radiation. Human eyes can only see visible light, but this camera can see thermal radiation. Human body radiates heat and was catched by the camera, and the camera put what heat source on the screen through the different colors. Here is a map of colors that represent different temperature. When you sit in front of a campfire, your front is hot but your back is cold because the fire is radiate heat. So what's the difference between heat radiation, convection, and conduction? Notice that heat radiation is electromagnetic radiation. It does not need any medium to transfer heat. The example of this is sun radiates heat through the vacuum to the earth. It is important to know that all of the 3 types of heat transfer may not happen alone. For example, a cup of hot water is placed in the open air. Convection appeared when the hot water moved up and placed by the cold water. Conduction appeared when the hot water transferred heat to the cup, and the hot water is also radiate heat to its surrounding. Now we see that 3 forms of heat transfer are happening together.